Featherweight bout between Austin Lingo and Nate Landwehr. Austin Lingo was supposed to fight Ricardo Ramos 2 weeks ago, and then Ramos missed weight, so he's getting stuck on this card to replace Alex Caceres against Nate Landwehr. Nate Landwehr minus 245, plus 245 for Austin Lingo. Over-under set at 2.5 rounds, plus 119 for the over, minus 119 for the under. Nate Landwehr was the underdog against Alex Caceres. He moves to a pretty sizable favorite here against Austin Lingo. Lingo was a similar sized dog, a little heavier dog against Ricardo Ramos. So I don't know how much I mean, we both kind of liked him against Ricardo Ramos at that price. And then coming into this one, I mean, he cut weight 2 weeks ago. He's going to have to come back and do that again. It's at the same weight against Nate Landwehr. So it's a little tougher to get behind that when Nate Landwehr has had a full camp and he's only going to have to cut weight once. Nate Landwehr, an absolute dog. Looking forward to seeing the energy he brings to the stadium or to the arena. But I think Nate Landwehr can just withstand everything on the feet. He's got some pretty solid boxing on the feet as well. That's where Lingo's going to shine in this one. If it's on the feet and it's just a firefight, then it's probably anybody's fight. But Nate Landwehr can usually outlast and outwork his opponents. That's what he does. He's Nate the Train Man. He's a wild man. And Austin Lingo, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, so he's going to be fighting in his home state. Maybe a little more of something to fight for there. A tough one for the price because we don't necessarily know how Nate Landwehr is going to fight. We saw in the last fight against Onama, he had opportunities to finish him after he almost got knocked out in that first round. Onama just gassed out. Landwehr was just firing on all cylinders and putting on a show for the fans. Didn't want to finish him, was just letting him back up. So to put your money at minus 245 on a guy that is that much of a loose cannon, it's a little tough. But I do think he gets it done. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Landwehr probably gets it done as well. And on Lingo's side, he's got coming off of 2 wins in the UFC, and in his debut gets the decision loss to Yusuf Salal. And that I look at that fight and it concerns me a little bit because Yusuf Salal is just not like an overpowering guy. He's, just a decent fighter overall. He's not good, like exceptionally good in one area. And, you go to decision with him and you lose. And then you're going to step in here with Landwehr, who he's kind of a wild card, man. I mean, he coming off of that win over Onama. Onama was kind of hyped up to be this big striker, going to finish everybody in the first round. And when he couldn't finish Landwehr in the first round, he gassed. And Landwehr kind of had to weather the storm and got better as the fight went on. He's just a junkyard dog, and it's hard to pick against those guys. And then, against Ludovic Klein, pulls off an anaconda choke for his first submission ever as a pro. Against Klein, who's a good grappler and a strong guy. So, like I said, man, he's a wild card. You don't know what you're going to get with him all the time. You do know he's going to go in there and he's going to lay it all out in the octagon. I mean, there's not a fight he doesn't go in there willing to just risk it all. He's, like I said, he's a junkyard dog. He's got more heart than anybody he's going to fight. And we saw that in the Onama fight. But with Lingo, I can see Lingo having success with that technical boxing and just kind of outpointing him. I don't necessarily think Lingo is going to be able to put Landwehr out because, I mean, if Onama's not putting him out, I don't see Lingo doing it. But I could see Lingo making a round or two close. And I see this one possibly going to decision as well. So it's just one of those things you kind of got to tread lightly. Don't necessarily think I've seen enough out of Lingo or enough things that I'm confident in for him to go out there and get a win as a big underdog here. But I don't think I'm confident enough either to, lay that big of a price on Nate Landwehr. I do think Landwehr wins. But yeah, man, these are the type of fights that you just never know.
Yeah, Nate's such a dog, but he's been knocked out by Herbert Burns and Julian Erosa in the first round. So, I mean, and then he almost got knocked out in the first round by Onama. So, if you're going to catch him, Herbert Burns is not anything to write home about. But if you're going to catch him, you got to catch him early. And Lingo could catch him. So,